Good evening. In this session, I'm going to show you how to configure auto scaling group with elastic load balancer. So before we are going into the actual practical, like to tell you what is meant by elastic load balancing. Elastic load balancing will automatically distribute your incoming traffic across the multiple targets such as EC2 instances. Whenever the traffic is heavy, then these traffic will be distributed equally to all the available target machines. And the auto scaling means where you can able to add or remove instances based on the demand. There are two type of auto scaling, like horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. In our exercise, I'm going to create an application load balancer with horizontal scaling. These are the steps I am going to do in ALB and auto scaling. First, launch two EC2 machines. Second one, configure the elastic load balancer. Third point is to create the target group and add the instances under the target group. Finally, you can check the load distribution through ELB DNS. In case of auto scaling, I'm going to create a launch template and define the EC2 configuration and configure the auto scaling and attached with the ELB. Now check the load distribution through the ELB DNS. This diagram I'm going to implement for our exercise. That is, assume that I'm going to create two virtual machine as machine 1 and machine 2. That is to be attached with the elastic load balancer. For example, a machine can able to handle only 5000 requests, and sometimes if the request number is more than 5000, which will be equally distributed to the machine. For example, 10,000 requests is received means first 5000 will be handled by the machine 2, machine 1, and the remaining 5000 requests will be handled by the machine 2. So likewise the equal distribution will happen. Then you assume that more than 10,000 requests are coming means, so that is to be handled by another machine called machine 3 and machine 4. So that we are going to launch a additional instances through auto scaling. These auto scaling machines are created through the launch template. This is what we are going to do as a practical. This is a sample user data. Now all of you can log into AWS management console, and I need to create two EC2 instances. So go into the service called EC2, take a EC2 service. There is no running instances. Go to instance, launch a machine. So keep your machine name as machine 1. Select the operating system as Linux machine, which comes with the freight elements. Then the instant type is t2.micro. Keeper is not required for this exercise. VPC, you can accept a default VPC. And here the security group is important, where I am allowing only HTTPS and HTTP. And you please remember this security group name. For my case, it is Launch Wizard 6. So this can be used for the next machine as well as during your launch machine template as well as the ELB. It will have the same security. It will ask you the security group. You can give the same security group name by selecting your existing security group option. So please remember this security group name, which will allow only HTTPS and HTTP traffic. Now the storage you can keep it as 8 GB. So now under the advanced detail, I want to paste the user data. Take a user data from the PPT material, copy the user data and come to your machine 1 user data place. Now paste the user data and please change that AWS welcome to AWS class, and this one is machine 1. Keep it as machine 1. Change this as machine 1. So now that's it. You can launch the instance. So now again click on view instance. Now machine 1 is running, and now similar procedure, create another instances as machine 2. This time the machine name as machine 2. Select the AMS as Linux machine. Here also the keeper is not required and the instant type is t2.mycare. You can accept a default VPC with the auto assign public IP should be enabled. So here only I told you. So here you can go to existing security group and you can select the launch wizard 6. Click on existing security group. Choose your launch wizard 6. So because this enables HTTP and HTTPS, storage is 8 GB. Under the advanced detail, as usual, paste the user data. This time, make a change that it is a machine 2. Machine 2. And finally, launch the instance. Click on view all instances. And refresh this, and you can see that there is no two machines were running. So now you can click on any one of the now you can click any one of the machine ID. Click on the machine 1 ID and take a public v4 IP address and keep it in your browser tab. If you can see that user data, then our configuration is perfect. Similar to that, go for machine 2 and take a public IP4 address and enter. So you'll get the machine 2. So now both machines were ready. Now I need to attach these two machines into the Elastic Load Balancer. So you can go to the service called Elastic Load Balancer, which is available under the EC2 tab itself. Come left side and you can see something called Load Balancer. Click on this Load Balancer and create a new Load Balancer. Now I'm going to create a new application Load Balancer. Click on this create. Keep the load balancer name as ELB1. ELB1 for load balancer 1. Scheme as internet facing. IP address is IPv4. For VPC, you can here also you can accept a default VPC. Where mapping, where subnet mapping, select all these mappings. Please click on all these subnet mappings. And now, as already said, the security group you can accept a default one. So not default, which we already created in the machine 1 as launch wizard 6, and come down. So now under this listeners and routing, here can you see that there is a target group you want to select, but now there is no target group exist. So you just click on this target group. I'll tell you what is this target group. Target group mean that whatever the instance we already have, we need to attach it. It's a group of instances. So here the under the basic configuration, choose the target type as instant, and you have to specify the group name. I'm making it as a group 1. So, and come down here also you can accept a default VPC. The rest of the configuration you can accept as such and click on next. Now you can see that there were two instances were available. So you can select both the instances and you can click on this include as pending below. So now the health status is now pending. Now click on create the target group. So now you could see this. So there are two instances were attached into the target group 1, and but you see the health status is unused. It is unused. Why? Because we created the target group, but we haven't attached the same with the elastic load balancer. We have to go to elastic load balancer, and now you please refresh and you can see that there is a group 1 exists. Click on that group 1, come down, and you can have the option to create a load balancer. Now click and create a load balancer. Click on this view load balancer. You can see that there is a load balancer is now creating. That is the provisioning. Now you go to your target group and refresh this. This status is now moved to initial state. So you have to wait for some time, because so this initial state will move from initial to healthy state. We have to wait for some time. After it is comes as healthy state, you can go to your load balancer. There you can find a DNS through which we can see how the distribution is happening. Refresh this page and wait for 2 minutes. So okay, now you can see that the health status of the registered target is moved to healthy. Now go to your load balancer, click on your load balancer, and here you can find something called a DNS. Click on the DNS and paste in your tab and enter. You can see that welcome to the AWS class machine 1. What I am doing, if I am reloading the page, what will happen? It will show the machine 1. If I am reloading one more time, you see that if I am reloading one more time, it will show us machine 2, machine 1, machine 2. So we have achieved the first agenda, that is we created two machines and we attached with the load balancer. Now what happened? Whatever the request comes, the first request goes to machine 1, second request goes to machine 2. So this is happen until how many requests it may be. that many times the distribution will happen. So now the second part is I'm going to create a auto scaling group with a launch template, which means that you assume that these two machines also perform not able to uh, perform the load distribution. It's not sufficient to do the load distribution. So I need to create two more machines as machine 3 and machine 4. So for that, so you have to go to the service called EC2 again. So what I'm doing, I'm going to take the service called EC2, where we can find something called launch template. After your instances, you can see something called launch template. So if click on this launch template and create a new launch template, so you can specify the template name here. So the meaning for this create launch template is that it is the configuration of your virtual machine. So here you want to create two more instances. For these instances, I am going to specify the configuration of the virtual machine. Now keep it as the template 1, followed by here also select AAMI, select the AMI as Linux machine, instant type is as usual, T2.micro comes with a free tier. Keeper is not required, you can choose don't include in launch template. And under this network setting, so you can use for existing security group as our launch wizard 6. And now under the advanced network configuration, so nothing to do, you can accept if the network's configuration asking, you can give a default VPC. So now it's not required, you select only the security group. And the EBS volume by default it is taken as 8 GB. And come to your advanced detail and the paste the user data, take a PPT and copy the user data and paste it. This time please include something called machine 3 and 4. For both the machine it will display the statement as welcome to AWS class machine 3 and 4. That's it, you can create a launch template now. Now our template is ready. Now what I need to do is I need to do attach with the auto scaling groups. So what I should do, click on this auto scaling group and there is no auto scaling group is exist. I want to create a auto scaling group. Click on this auto scaling group where we need to specify the group name auto scale. I'm just making it as auto scale 1 and here I need to select the templates. So we already defined the templates. Choose the template as template 1. Click on next. Followed by here the network settings we have to choose. And by default it is taken as a default VPC. Now you have to select the subnets. You can select all the subnets available. Click on all the subnets. Click on next. And this step is very important because we have to attach this newly creating instances into the existing load balancer. So click on this option attach to an existing load balancer. So you can select a load balancer now as a group 1. And now come to the next option. Remaining things you can accept your default settings. Click on next. And this is important. So here you need to specify the desired capacity minimum and the maximum capacity. Desired capacity, if I am keeping it as 2, 2 instance will be created now, where the minimum capacity is 2 and the maximum capacity also 2. Come down. So nothing to select here, anything. You can accept a default configuration. So there is no additional notification is required. Simply you can skip the step. Tags also not required. Now review all the configuration and now click on the auto scaling group. So now auto scaling group also done. Now you please go to the target group and check it out and refresh this once. Now these registered targets are not comes into your place. So what I should do is one more time click on the register targets and see that now two more additional machines is started running. These two machines are started running. So what I need to do, already two machines it's available under the group one. So I need to select this machine, these two newly created machine, and click on this include as pending below and click on the registered pending targets. And now you see that here you can immediately see the reflection that so this will be moved to the healthy state. It also will move to healthy state. Let's wait for some time and see that these two will also move to initial to the healthy state. Now the target registration is pending. Why? Because EC2 instance is now creating. So now you can see that the 4 healthy machines were attached. So how you can see that distribution? Again, it's very simple. Go to the service called load balancer. Click on your load balancer. Take your load balancer. Now, as usual, take this domain name in your browser. Keep it and enter. And you see that first time I'm seeing machine 2. If I refresh, I can see 3 and 4. Again, if I refresh, I can see machine 1. If I refresh, 3 and 4. So now what happens? The thing is that if your first request which is handled by machine 2, second request handled by the machine 2, third request which is handled by machine 3, and the fourth request is handled by machine 4. Now the distribution is equally happens. And one more beauty of this auto scaling, I like to tell you. Once I'll close and show this to you. So go to instances, and there you can see that there are totally 4 machines were running now. For example, unfortunately, if you are deleting one machine, this is unfortunately it is happens. So you can assume that this was happening unfortunately. That is, I have deleted, forget, and unfortunately I have deleted one machine. Click this newly created instance. Click on that instant and click on this terminate. You see this, the instant state is now moved to termination. But the thing is that after some 1 minute, you try this. If you go to this EC2 instant dashboard and see refresh, so now only 4 machines are running, right? Even though that shutdown is happening, after sometimes what will happen, it will create one more instances under the same region. So that is, even though the failure or termination happen, it will immediately create additional instances. So that's it. We have achieved our agenda. So, and the last, I would like to tell you how to remove all these resources. First, let's start with the auto scaling group because you have to delete this auto scaling group. Otherwise, you can see that the instance will be launched automatically. So click on your auto scaling group, go to action and delete this. And now go to your load balancer, select your load balancer, go to action and delete your load balancer by confirm the same, delete, and go to the target group and select the group, go to actions and delete it. Okay, so similar to that, so this will take some time to leave a frame place. Just to delete this also, followed by your launch template. Select the template, go to action and delete template, and finally go to your instances, select all the instances, go to terminate and terminate this instance. So successfully you are deleted or terminated all the instances, and we have achieved a Varadanda. That is, what we did is we created two machines and attached with the elastic load balancer. After that, we have done the same with the auto scaling group, where two more additional instances were created and attached with the elastic load balancer. Now the distribution is happening between four machines. Thank you.